Hi, I'm Mike Cerrone with Mastermind Agent, and welcome to the webinar, How to Set In-Office Listing Appointments and Increase Your Show-Up Rate with Video Email. Learn how to get sellers into your office for quick, decisive appointments, including scripts. We'll be starting up in just a few minutes. If you're just getting in, go ahead and look for this question comment box on your screen. Type in the city that you're in right now. In the bottom of that box, press enter. And when you do this, login box will pop up. Don't worry about logging in. Just go to number 2 where it says temporary name. Type your name in there, press go, and you'll be part of the chat so that you can be part of the Q&A and ask questions as we go along. So we'll be starting up here in about 3 to 4 minutes. Talk to you soon. Hi, I'm Mike Cerrone with Mastermind Agent, and you're in the right place if you're here for the webinar, How to Set In-Office Listing Appointments and Increase Your Show-Up Rate with Video Email. Learn how to get sellers in your office for quick, decisive listing appointments, including scripts. We'll be starting up here in just a minute, and while we're waiting, if you're just getting in, go ahead and type in your city in that question comment box. There's a space at the bottom. Type in your city, press enter. When you do, screen will pop open. It says log in. Forget about logging in. Just right there under number 2, write temporary name, press go, and that'll get you right into the chat box so that you can ask your questions. All right, I'm excited about getting started. We'll be starting up in about 1 minute. Hi, I'm Mike Cerrone with Mastermind Agent, and welcome to the webinar, How to Set In-Office Listing Appointments and Increase Your Show-Up Rate with Video Email. Learn how to get sellers in your office for quick, decisive listing appointments, including scripts. This is a fantastic training seminar session here. I think you're really going to enjoy it. And tell me what city you're in. There's going to be a box there somewhere on the page. It says question and comment box. So type in your city there at the bottom, press enter. When you do, the second screen will pop open. It says login. Don't worry about logging in. Just enter your temporary name in that space on 2 and press go. Just put your name in there, and we'll see you over on the screen. I see that we got a lot of people here. We got another shy group, but that's all right. That's all right. It looks like I've got Molly in Portland. Thanks for joining us. And Andy in Orlando, and Gwen in Westminster. Welcome. It's so good to have you all here. Um, this is real exciting. This is a live webinar. So we're sitting here on November 8th, 2017. I think it's a Wednesday. Um, Pretty excited. It's NLI signing day. If you have a child that's looking at getting into collegiate sports, and my daughter's going to be signing her NLI later today to get into volleyball. So I'm super excited for her. So it's a real exciting day, and I'm glad I'm going to get to spend some time with you all today as well. So it's about 11 o'clock in the morning, my time. I'm Mountain Time. If you're on the East Coast, that's 1 o'clock. Central is noon, and West Coast is 10. So again, thank you so much for joining us, and let's get into the material. All right, so again, here we go. This is a webinar, how to set in-office listing appointments and increase your show-up rate with video email. Learn how to get sellers into your office for quick, decisive listing appointments, including scripts. You're going to want to take a lot of notes during this. It's pretty awesome. Deep dive. This is going to be a deep dive. It's going to be quick and to the point. We'll be done in about 60 to 70 minutes, and there will be no replays, so please stay to the end. If you have questions, type them into the question box as you think of them. I won't be answering questions as we go, but I will have a full Q&A session at the end. Now, you're in the right place if you're a real estate agent who wants to speed up the listing process and eliminate hours of traveling by setting listing appointments in your office. You want sellers to hire you before you've seen the house or given them a price for the home, before you've basically done the work. You want sellers to treat you like other professionals, doctors, lawyers, accountants, by meeting you in your office on your schedule. You want to work a standard work week, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and never work nights or weekends again. Believe it or not, it is possible if you focus on listings. You want to increase the show-up rate for seller appointments and increase the number of sellers who fill out your pre-listing package paperwork by using tech tools like video email, one of the coolest things we'll be talking about today. All right. By the way, you may notice that I'm going through here and I'm reading bullet point by bullet point. That is on purpose. If I don't do that, I tend to go off on tangents, and these training sessions get really, really long, and I've been asked to keep them shorter. So I'm working on that by going off these bullet points, and I also want to make sure you get all the excellent material. What you're going to learn today: how to get sellers to come to your office for listing appointments, how to turn it into a seller benefit, and how to stand out from your competition. How to reduce your time for each listing by eliminating travel and getting the seller to hire you before you do any work preparing CMAs, reviewing the home, or giving any staging advice. The appointment setting script. Okay, so we're going to be going through that script. Make sure you take notes there, and how to approach the conversation to easily set the appointment and handle any objections. Next, the online tools that you can use, including video email, to increase seller show-up rate and fill out your pre-list paperwork online before they arrive. That's going to speed up the entire process if you can get them to fill out that paperwork. And what the appointment confirmation video looks like. So we're going to be working through that. I've made it work once before, so I'm hoping to make that work again, and the service that you can easily use to create it. So we'll actually be looking at a demonstration video as well. Pretty cool stuff. All right, where there's a free surprise if you stay to the end. And that's this seller lead sheet. It's the seller intake form that I used to find out seller motivation and timing, and then set the appointment. Now, I used this form when I listed 21 homes in 30 days. So the form is fantastic. It gets all the information you need. And you can use this as a basis for you to quickly get that information, determine if they're qualified, and then set that appointment. Okay, so who is Mike Cerrone, and why should I listen to him? That's a valid question. So if you've been with me before, just sit back for a few minutes and you'll hear some repeat. If you haven't, I'm welcome. I'm so glad to get to know you, and here we go. So 24 years ago, I got my real estate license. I was a young punk kid. I was pretty excited. I was 25 years old at the time. I started slow. I sold 7 homes my first full year in the business. I actually had been in the business for 6 months and sold 5, and then my first full year I sold 7. Actually, it's decreased my rate of success. But that second year, that first full year, the broker told me I was doing great, but I didn't feel like I was. I don't know if you've ever been in that position. Hopefully you're not right now, but maybe you are. And they said I was doing great, but I wasn't eating very well. I was living in a little studio apartment, eating top ramen, driving an old station wagon, not able to go out with my friends. It kind of stunk, but I was able to figure some things out. After a while, you figure out a few basics, and I got up to 20 closings per year, but I stalled out there. I couldn't get past that. It kind of became a ceiling for me. I did it 3 years in a row. I don't know if you're in that position. If you are, we've got some ideas for you to push past that ceiling. I was stuck, and I was a little hard-headed. I wanted to invent everything myself. I don't know if you're in that position. Anybody out there hard-headed? um, well, you got to kind of open up. And 19 years ago, I heard about a 1-hour videotape of a top agent demonstrating his listing presentation. And I knew that if I just focused on listings, I could stabilize my income. I just didn't know how. And I thought maybe that tape would have the answers. But then I kind of chickened out, right? They asked, the price of the tape was about $1,000 in today's money. And I wasn't willing to invest those funds. I know I could have come up with the money, but I just didn't want to because I was scared. And that turned out to be an error. But every time that I went out on listing appointment after I learned about that tape, I struggled and I didn't get that appointment, I kept thinking, geez, maybe the answers are in that tape. How are these top agents doing it? They must know something I don't know. It turns out they did. But that was kind of my story. 1 year later, I finally broke down and I invested the money and I got that tape. It was kind of an exciting time. I was very nervous. But it took like 2 weeks to get to me because it was by snail mail, right? So it came over by snail mail. And when it got to my office, I ripped open that package. I couldn't wait to watch it. And that night I ran home and I slammed that tape into the VCR. That's how old it was. And I watched it on the VCR backwards and forwards and tried to figure out what was going on. And the next day I modified my listing presentation just a little bit based on what I'd seen. And I took a listing that night with incredible ease. It was amazing what was happening. This guy I was watching on the tapes, his words were like coming out of my mouth. I was sitting at the presentation. I was thinking, wow, that is bizarre. And yet I could watch the sellers smiling and they knew, I knew that they knew what was going on. Everything was working. And I could tell this was going to be a great way to go forward. So I spent a few more hours later rewatching the videos again, more and more, and tweaking my presentation, and realized I really needed to talk like this person and show what they were showing. I modified it for my voice, but I was basically giving the same concepts. And I just kept modeling that top agent and again, what he said and how he presented to the seller, and everything went up from there. That year, when I focused on listings, my production not only went up, it doubled. I went from 20 to 41 closings. Just imagine doubling your income in 1 year. It was so cool. And then I continued to master my presentation, and soon I started listing 5 to 10 homes per month, every month, over and over again, like a machine. And in my best month, I listed 21 homes in 30 days. Now, people always ask, so I want to clarify, that was 21 different sellers at 21 different kitchen tables. I had to go out and find these people and prospect for them and market for them and find them, and then go out and meet each one individual. So it wasn't like an REO account or a builder or my cousin who had listings somewhere. It was, I had to go out and meet each of these people individually. My production jumped the next year. I doubled again. I went from 41 to 95 closings. How exciting. In 2 years, I quadrupled. And then I got up the next year to 113 closings. So I got up there and I was able to maintain it, and did that for a long time, by the way. But I was listed that year in the top 300 agents in the National Association of Realtors magazine, which was very exciting. I looked for a copy of that magazine to show you, but I couldn't find it. So I did find online a listing of it. So here you go. You got the top 300 agents in the nation. I was ranked number 263 that year, and had 113 closings. Very, very exciting. And what I also think is really cool is if you look at the number one rank that year, it was Alan Dom. If you all are part of Star Power or anything, that Alan was a big fixture in the industry. And that year he closed 754 transactions. That was mind blowing back at the time. Even today, it's pretty amazing. Well, the only mistake I think as far as my journey there was that I waited that 1 year to buy the tape. I waited to get that information that made such a huge difference in my life. I literally made 1,000 times my investment back over the next few years just by learning those basics. I just wish I wouldn't have lost that year by waiting and being so scared. I then realized though this process, this listing process that I was learning is transferable. I figured they taught it to me. Could I teach it to someone else? Right. So I decided that I was getting so busy, I needed to hire a listing agent to help me handle all the volume that started to occur. And I went out in the market and looked for someone, but it was a brand new concept at the time. And, and believe it or not, nobody wanted to do it. They couldn't see what I was doing. They couldn't understand it. I had one person stand up. I found a young man in his 20s named Jamie. He had his license for 6 months. He'd only closed 2 buyers, and he had never taken a listing before. And, but he was friendly, and no one else applied, so he was the winner. And I decided I'm going to just teach Jamie what I'm doing. So the first month I trained him a few hours per week. I was so busy, I couldn't figure out how to spend enough time with him. And he started to get real restless. And I think he was going to leave. And I'm like, that's the only applicant, so I better figure something out. So the second month, I sent him on a few solo listings. I said, you know what? Why don't you just go out? Why don't you take my reject leads, these people I don't even think are going to do anything, and just go out there and present to them. You can practice. I know it's a live practice, but I'm not worried about the leads. So just go out there and try it and, get better. And amazingly, he started listing homes because he was using that model, right? Over half of the appointments, over half the people he went out on were listing in his second month. This guy who had never taken a listing before. And by his third month on the job, it's really his second month listing, he listed 14 homes in 30 days and was earning $10,000 per month. And that was net income because he didn't have any expenses. So it was pretty incredible and very exciting. Now, how did this work? Well, it was modeling, right? I modeled the top agents and I had this huge success. And then I turned around and had Jamie model me and he had huge success. And so these principles, what I'm trying to get into you is that they're transferable. If I could do it and Jamie could do it, you could do it. That's the cool part about it. So people ask, Mike, what happened to the rest of the story? How did you get here? Well, I went on to build real estate brokerages and mortgage brokerages and real estate investment companies, and I sold, and now I'm semi-retired from real estate. And I don't know if you've been in that position or know people in that position, but it starts to get boring after a while. So I decided, what do I really love? And I love helping real estate agents because that was the most exciting time of my life, I think. And so I went out now and I interview the top agents in the nation for success calls on the Mastermind Agent Network. And it's a lot of fun. And occasionally I go out and try to get even more word out there. And so I host summits with top trainers, the top trainers in the nation, as well as top agents in the nation. And I recently hosted the Listing Agent Summit, where 14 top agents demonstrated their listing presentation in detail and showed us their exact presentation scripts and handouts. It was really, really cool. So now I'm going to share some of the findings with you from that summit. Before I do that, though, I want to show you these were really top agents at the top of their game. So you got Eric Hatch, who sold 508 homes worth $108 million in 1 year. Almost hard to say that, it's so big. Chantel Ray, 1,300 homes in 1 year. She's just got a machine going. And they got Brian Macker, 235 homes with 45 million. He's such a down-to-earth guy. You got Melinda Estridge, you got 120 homes worth 70 million. She's doing kind of the upper end. And again, very, very friendly. I got to stop saying that because they all are. And you got Nate Martinez, who really cranked it up to 616 homes worth 68 million in 1 year. And you got Patrick Tuttle, 80 homes worth 15 million in 1 year. Plus, Patrick has like 200 properties under management, which is one of his loves. And then you got Paul Wheeler, 248 homes worth 35 million, and Judy Jackson listed 7 homes in 7 days. She is a listing specialist for a top agent, and Judy said she just absolutely loves it because she no longer has to work evenings and weekends, and she just plugged into a system that was working. And you got Shane White, who's got 212 homes. He sold worth 36 million in 1 year, and Steve Cohen, 106 homes worth 26 million in 1 year. You got Shar McCollum, 210 homes worth 35 million in 1 year. there. Bob McTagg also did 210 homes in his best year there with 32 million. You got Wayne Turner with 286 homes worth 51 million, and Denny Grimes 400 homes in 1 year worth 50 million. I just want you to know these people are spectacular. They really know what they're doing, and if they can do it, that's the key. Look how many people, how many of them there are up there. If these people can do it from all these different walks of life, you can do it too. But just take the information that they're doing and use it in your practice and watch how it's going to just take off. So I did the summit and then I got obsessed. I don't know if you can tell I talk fast. I get kind of all worked up about things and get obsessed. And I watched these 14 top agent demonstrations over and over again because I have them on video, and it was just spectacular. I couldn't stop watching them, right? Because it was amazing, all the incredible details that were coming out. So I picked up stuff in the second interview, second round. I didn't see in the first, and then in the third round, I didn't see in the second. They were given so much out there. It was hard to digest it all the first time through. So it was incredible, right? But I want to see the patterns. I want to see the patterns of what they're doing, because if you can see the patterns and you can pull those out, you can mimic them, you can mimic those best practices, and all of a sudden you're going to get similar results. So I actually ended up creating like a 39-page listing presentation template that I'm very, very proud of, and I modeled it after the common elements in these top agents' presentations. I mean, you start to see these patterns and you can start then putting things together. And so now I'd like to share with you a major lesson that I learned from that summit from these folks coming in. There were just so many, but here's one of them. In order to understand it, though, I got to walk through the 10-step listing process of the top agents. And this is something that I put together after watching those 14 folks and realizing they're all pretty much doing the same thing, even though they have different backgrounds and their presentations are slightly different, one way or the other. They all kind of put them together with their own personality. They were following this format. So here it is real fast. You got number one, they screen and set. They get on that phone when the call comes in, right? Or if it comes in by email, they call up and they start talking, and they qualify that seller for motivation and timing. Because if the seller doesn't have motivation and timing, you stop. They got to be willing to sell soon, and they got to be open to selling it at a fair price, right? They got to be motivated. So if they are, then they're good, and you set the appointment, and they have a script for how you do that. Okay, and then the next part is the pre-listing package, and you're going to send that out to pre-sell yourself. And then when you get there, you're going to have a greet and a tour to get that rapport started, and then you're going to requalify to make sure they really are motivated, you didn't miss anything, and then you're going to establish the expertise of you with them so they know that you're the pro, and then you're going to have a marketing plan to show them how you're going to get that home sold in a fair amount of time at the highest price, and then you're going to have a value of the home. You're going to show them how much you think it's worth based on the comps in the market. You're going to get their buy-in on what that number should be, and then you're going to go into the net sheet and you're going to show them what all the costs are, so there are no surprises. You want them to know everything, and they love the transparency. And then you go for the close and you handle any objections that pop up, and you get that signature, right? And then you want to make sure you tell them here's what happens next, so that they know where you're going with this. So today we're going to just focus in on one of these, and what we're going to focus in on is right at the beginning when that call comes in, that screen and set, how you're going to qualify for motivation and timing, and if it's good, you're going to set that appointment. Okay, so let's walk into the problem that we're going to solve. Most listing appointments happen at the seller's property, right? That's traditionally the way that this business has been done. Why? So that you can see the property, condition, meet the seller on their terms, give staging advice, and present the seller with an estimate of value. That makes a lot of sense. But some top agents were spending hours and hours per day driving the listing appointments, plus hours more preparing CMAs and giving people staging advice, all without knowing if the seller was going to hire them or not. You spend all this time, and if you don't get hired, why did you do all this work, right? There had to be a better way. Now, in the past, everybody thought we had to do it that way, and that was just a cost of doing the business, this lost time if they don't sign. You're just doing a numbers game. Well, there are some agents that said, you know what, I'm going to be even smarter with my time, and that's what we're going to come up with. So many top agents realized they were investing time in the listings without getting paid. So they stopped going to the house. Let me say that again. They stopped going to the house to get the listing. They just stopped going to the house. They didn't go to the house until after they were hired. I know that might be mind-blowing to some folks out there, but just think about how much that opens up your time. Okay. So they started to schedule in-office listing appointments with the objective of getting the seller to commit to the agent and sign a listing agreement first before the agent has to go to the home. Okay. So if the agent is signing 70% of their listing appointments, the in-office appointments will eliminate the 30% that don't sign. It eliminates the work to set up their CMA and to drive to their house and tour their house and staging advice. Now, the 70% that sign, after they sign at your office, then you're going to go out there and do the CMA, go to their house and help them stage, etc. Yeah, or you can even have an assistant do it, by the way. But you're eliminated all this lost time that you had on the 30% that don't end up signing, or whatever your ratio is for success rate. And by the way, we're talking about people who are doing a lot of volume. They're meeting a lot of new people, so their success rate is not going to be 100%. It's just not. There's so many new people coming into their system, it can't be 100%. In fact, if you're at 100% of your listings taken, you're probably not getting enough business into your pipeline. Okay, so let's go on. That's several hours, by the way. That 30% adds up to several hours saved for each seller who is not going to hire them anyway, saving dozens and dozens of hours per month and hundreds of hours per year. And when you're a top agent earning $1,000 per hour, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings per year by not going out there, plus the productivity of doing more listings in that time. So, and I want to get this idea into you. If you're going to make the big bucks, you have to think like a business person, not an agent. Like agents, we love people, we want to help them achieve their goals, and you have to have that, but you got to think like a business person if you want to earn the money. And so you got to combine those two, right? And when you save money, you're actually making money, right? So if you can cut an expense, you're actually making money. All right. So time is everything. And here's what most agents forget, right? What are you selling? What are you selling to the seller? What are you selling? Not as what the seller's selling. The seller's selling a house. What are you selling? Now think about that for a second. Yeah, I think a few of you got it, right? You are selling your time. That's all you have to sell. We're in a service business, so we are selling our time. We're selling our expertise, but really what that boils down to is your time sitting in front of someone, talking to someone, thinking about their problem and how to solve it. You're selling your time, okay? So you need to protect it. You don't get any more of your time. You got 24 hours in the day, 7 days a week, and that's it. You don't get an extra hour somehow. It's finite. So both business and personal time are limited. So when you save time by not driving across town, you can invest that time in more dollar productive activities and earn a higher income. Or you can spend that time with those you love and care about, because now you got those free hours, right? Like the agent we talked about earlier, who's a listing specialist now and gets all those evenings and weekends now to spend with their kids and their spouse. So by bringing sellers to your office, you set appointments on your schedule. Let me say that again. By bringing the sellers to your office, you can now set appointments on your schedule, and you can stop working evenings and weekends. Hello to the traditional 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. If that's what you want to set up, you can now set that up, just like doctors do, lawyers, accountants, and other professionals. You tell me, when's the last time you saw your doctor at 10:30 at night, other than an emergency room? Okay. How about your lawyer? You mean your lawyer at 5:30 in the morning? No? How about your accountant? Does your accountant want to meet with you on a Sunday at 1 p.m.? I mean, other professionals don't do that. So why are real estate agents doing that, right? Our old belief was it's because that's when the buyers and sellers want to go out, and maybe buyers, but sellers, they're going to go on your schedule. And again, that's a reason to be a listing specialist, a listing agent. So who does it? Well, inside the summit, we got 3 top agents that talked in detail about setting in-office listing appointments exclusively. And there were a bunch other who are experimenting with it and starting to move towards it. Now, Patrick Tuttle is doing it, and he sold 80 homes in his best year. And you say 80 homes, Mike, you're usually talking to people doing over 100. That's true. Patrick is also managing 200 rental properties at the same time. He's got great income streams going. You got Steve Cohen, who sold 106 homes in his best year. You got Eric Hatch and his team, who sold, ready, 508 homes in his best year. And he's a very interesting example because not only is Eric able to do listings in his office, so are the agents on his team. You can't do 508 homes all by yourself. So he's got people that are out there listing and multiple people. These concepts, again, is what I'm trying to help you get in your head. If you don't already have it, is that these concepts are transferable and people can do this, especially if you see examples and models. So now let's talk about how they're getting the seller to drive to their office. First of all, it's a mental game, which most things are, right? It is a mental game. It's between your ears as the agent that's the hang up. So first you need to understand something, and that is there is no rule, no requirement, no law that states that you have to go to the seller's property before you get hired. None that I'm aware of. If there are out there, let me know. But I'm not aware of any rule, requirement, or law that states you have to go to the seller's property before you can get hired. That was just a tradition, just what people have done in the past, okay, what agents have done in the past. So sellers have no expectation about you visiting their house. They don't know. They sell a home once every 10 years or 20 years or maybe 5 years at the most. They don't do this very often. So they don't have an expectation. We're the ones guiding them. They don't care one way or the other either. What do they want? Sellers want one thing. They want results. The seller wants to get their house sold for the most money in the shortest time with the fewest hassles. That's it. By the way, that's been true for as long as I've ever known this industry or read back into the past. And it's obvious, right? It's logical. Sellers want the most money in the shortest time with the fewest hassles. How we deliver that is up to us. So if you think you have to go to the seller's home for a listing appointment, that's your belief. Your belief. That's your hang up. That's something you were taught or something that's worked for you in the past. So now you think you have to do it that way. And it's your challenge. And I challenge you to get beyond that. The seller doesn't care. The seller just wants the home sold for the most money in the shortest time with the fewest hassles. That's all. So clear your head. Once you understand there's no seller expectation of you meeting the seller at their home, then you have the confidence of setting the listing appointment at your office. It's really not difficult unless you make it difficult. It's just the way that you do business. You're going to change your mind to, now I take listing appointments in my office. Like a doctor, a lawyer, or an accountant. You go to their office to meet them to get their services. Once you get this in your head, then setting the appointment is easy. It does not matter what script you use or how you say it. I know that's going to blow your mind too, right? It does not matter what script you use or how you say it. It does not matter what script you use or how you say it. What matters is your conviction that this is the way it needs to be. That's what's going to make it happen. Your conviction, your voice, your confidence. You just say, hey, this is the way we do it. Come into my office and let's get started. Okay? So just like your current conviction makes setting an appointment at their house work, think about that for a second, right? Who wants a stranger at their house, right? Do you want a stranger to come over to your house right now? But you convince them, so change what you convince them to do. Instead of convincing them that you're going to go over to their house, convince them to come into your office. Now, that said, I will share a script with you that works very well. So you might want to get out pencil and paper and take some notes here, okay? So here's the script to set the in-office listing appointment. After you ask the qualifying questions on your seller lead sheet, you've established that the seller's motivation and timing is what you want. Okay, it makes sense and it meets your guidelines. Now you can schedule the appointment. And here we go. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, based on what you've told me, I think we should schedule an appointment for us to meet in my office. We can discuss the trends in the market, where you should position your home, and how I market to find buyers for homes like yours. I'll get to meet you and answer any of your questions about the seller of your home, and then you'll get to decide if I'm the right agent for you. Sound good? Great. Does Tuesday at 9:30 or Friday at 1:15 work better for you? Fantastic. I'll see you Thursday at 9:30. I'll send you an email in the next 15 minutes with our address, driving directions, and a quick questionnaire. Please take a few minutes to answer those questions so that I can sell your home faster and for more money. Sound good? Great. We'll see you there. Bye. So notice that this script is simple. It's to the point. It gives them just enough information to understand what's going on. Like in the beginning, they know that you're going to meet at their office, and it's so that you can show them the trends of the market. You're going to show them how to position their home and how you find buyers. Plus, you're going to be able to answer any of their questions and decide if you're the right agent. That makes logical sense. And then you're going to go for the time. You're going to nail down the time, and you're going to give them the alternative close, either Thursday at 9:30 or Friday at 1:15. Okay? Either option they pick, you win. And notice those times are between 9 and 5, right? Well, they would do that if they called the doctor's office. Why wouldn't they do that with you? Okay, fantastic. I'll see you Thursday at 9:30, and then you tell them what's going to happen next, right? You're going to send them out an email with where they need to go and how they need to get there, plus this quick questionnaire. And then you give them the reason why they got to fill it out. If they fill it out, you can sell their home faster and for more money. Look how powerful that little script is, right? So I recommend that you write down this script, get this in your head, and use it. Or write your own. As I said, you can pretty much say gobbledygook. As long as you have the intention of making this happen, you will work your way through it, and the seller will go there with you. If you don't have the intention or the conviction that this is right, that's where you're going to run into problems. So the real issue is you in your head, not the seller. Okay? All right, hopefully that's a helpful script for you. Now, top agent Patrick Tuttle is a great agent. He takes 75% of his listings at his office. Pretty cool. After he sets the appointment, he gathers all the data he needs by email, and he has the seller fill out online forms so he can find out what's going on in their situation. It speeds up his phone call too, by the way. Now, he's reestablishing the seller's motivation and timing and collecting data for the CMA, the market analysis that he's going to do later. This is so cool. He sends a personalized 1 to 2 minute video email, right? And you're going to actually see a sample of this in a minute. He introduces himself. Notice how cool that is, by the way. Just look at this picture. This is the way the video comes out with this high mic and over there on the right. And it has the play button and play 1 minute video. I saw this, I about fell over. I didn't realize he was going to send a personalized email. I thought it was just going to be something he's as standard, something he sends to everybody, more commodity. But there it is, boom, with my name on that little board. How cheap is that little board? But it looks so cool. He says, "Hi, Mike," and I wanted to push that button because, by the way, he treated me like the seller, right? And so I'm like, wow, that is so cool. So he introduces himself. He confirms the appointment time. He instructs the seller to fill out the online questionnaire before they meet. And he's building that quick report. It only takes a minute or two to build a report. Look at his big smile. I mean, don't you want to go out there and work with Patrick right now? No other agent is doing it, and it makes him stand out. It's so simple to stand out if you just do a little bit extra. Okay. So the video email itself that he sends, this video email is so cool that I want to show you a quick clip. Now, I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try. Hopefully it comes through. Patrick's first email message has this video embedded in the email. So the video is embedded in the email, just like what you're seeing, that little picture. I just clipped that right out of his email. And he shoots the video on the spot in his office. You notice his office in the background with those awards on the left there, and nice little, kind of see a clock at the top. You can tell he's in a professional environment. Keep in mind, Patrick is an S personality. And if you know anything about the DISC personality test, you know that S's don't like to do this. They don't like to open up to people they don't really know yet. And yet this is working really well for Patrick, right? So the first time he was very, very nervous. But when he saw the huge increase in both show up rate to the appointment and the increase in the percentage of people that were filling out his online questionnaires, he decided it was absolutely worth the effort, and that's what he now does all the time. So here's the video, and you're going to have to hang in there with me because I got to go over there. I got to see if I can make this work. So hang in there. Biggest thing is going to be audio. If I can get the screen up, and we're going down in there, and there you go. I hope you're seeing the screen with his video. Now I've got to take the headset off. I got to do this jury rig system to try to get audio in. It's just something that the webinar doesn't work right for this part, but I'm going to try to get this video to play. So you might have to turn up the volume, but here we go.
Patrick with Legacy Real Estate Services down in El Paso, and I'm just shooting you a quick video about our appointment for talking about your property at 123 Elm Street. I've got that set for 2 p.m. Mountain Time on Thursday, and I'm looking forward to visiting with you about the property and how we can be of service to you. Now, I do need some help from you up front. So within the next 24 hours, I would like for you to click on the link just below here, and that will take you to my seller questionnaire. This will tell me about the property itself as well as your needs for my services. There are 2 more links in the body of this email as well. The first link is to our marketing presentation, which tells you more about me and my team and how we can be of service to you. And then the second link is to my marketing agreement. That's our listing agreement. And I want you to review that and highlight any questions you've got on those so that we can discuss those. And then once you have said, yes, Patrick Tuttle and his team are the best ones to help you sell the property, then we can focus exclusively on the property itself and how we can get it sold for you. If you got any questions about it, call me here at the office, area code 915-585-7777. Look forward to visiting with you tomorrow. Again, 2 p.m. Mountain Time. God bless you. Thanks for looking at us, and make it a great day. Bye-bye.
Wow. Wow. I hope you picked up on that. That was spectacular, right? Uh, let me try to work my way back over here. Oh, there we go. And get us back to our normal screen. But holy moly, that was good. Did you pick up on some of those things in there? Patrick said at the end, he said, if something along the lines of, once you decide that I'm your agent, then we'll focus exclusively on the property, right? He's setting up that expectation that this is how he works. This is his process. Come on down. We're going to make this work. I thought that was amazing, and I'm hoping that you heard all of that. It was pretty phenomenal. All right, so let's talk about some of the tools that Patrick was using in there. Patrick uses BombBomb, video, email, and you can use the same tool. Just go to www.bombbomb.com, www.bombbomb.com, B-O-M-B, and pretty awesome stuff there. I don't have any association with BombBomb. This is just a tool that Patrick uses, and I've heard a lot of great things about it over the years. So you might want to check that out. Now, you're going to want to keep the video short to say 1 to 2 minutes. Keep their attention. You notice how quick and simple that Patrick's was. You want to write out a simple script each time, right? To keep you on track. To make sure that you're hitting all the highlighted items. You can either do those in bullet points or actual words. After you do it a few times, you'll become a pro. Like, I don't know if you know Patrick, he was very comfortable making that. He's probably done it a dozen times, maybe 100 times. He knows exactly what to do. For the forms, you can use free, for the forms, for the online form that they fill out, you can use a free WordPress plugin like Fast and Secure Contact Forms, or free services like Google Forms, right? The key is to decide that you're going to set the listing appointments in your office. That's the key. You want to take action to get it set up quickly. You want to be confident when you talk to the sellers, and then get ready to save a ton of time. And multiply the number of listings that you can take in a week, right? You're going to have a lot more free time, and you can use that for dollar productive activities or to spend more time with your family. There's so many benefits here. It's incredible. Well, I'm not sure why you showed up today. It could be that you want to set in-office listing appointments with script and video, email, and it could be that you want to improve your listing presentation so that you sign more sellers and beat out other agents in this hyper-competitive market. It could be that you want to gain the confidence of knowing you have an awesome presentation so that you start attracting sellers to you. And it could be you want to learn how top agents list and sell hundreds of homes each year, and you want to too. Well, if there's one thing to take away from today, it's that I've cracked the code for modeling top agent listing presentations and duplicating their results. It's literally changed my world and the world of my new listing agent and the world of my students. And it's very much a replicatable system that you can apply to your real estate practice. You can finally have a consistent, dependable monthly income stream and the freedom to enjoy it. So obviously the question is, how can you apply this code, this system, this model of the top agent listing presentations to your business and create a consistent monthly income? Well, as always, you have a choice. You can do it slowly using trial and error, taking some of what I shared today, or you can do it quickly using the models in the Listing Agent Summit Recordings training program. When in doubt, bring in Einstein. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Well, what is the Listing Agent Summit Recordings? At the summit, 14 top agents demonstrated their listing presentation as we watched over their shoulder and onto their computer screens. You can see and download their real-life listing presentation documents, hear and mimic their words and scripts, and model their best practices. And it was all recorded on video. This is absolutely the fastest way to get from point A to point B. Now, you can get to your goal slowly in this funny looking vehicle, or you can get there quickly in a hot red Ferrari. So what exactly is inside the summit? Well, there are 14 training videos with the top agents listing their demonstrating their exact listing presentation in detail. And they're basically in 3 different formats, all right, just depending on the personality of the agent. So the first format we had was role play, where I was the seller and the agent was the listing agent, and we were right there at the table, and they walk us through talking to me as though I'm the seller. So you get to hear their exact dialogues. Really cool. And then the second format that they used for people who were a little more analytical is they would walk step by step saying, well, this is what I do first, this is what I do second, these are the documents I show, this is why I show it, this is what I do. And they walked us through their entire process start to finish. And then there was a third group who did a role play, and they would step out of the role play and explain why they just said something. So they would give an example, they would show something on the screen, they would give me their dialogue, and then step back and say, well, Mike, the reason I said that was blah, 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 blah. And it was really, really cool. So you got 3 different ways they're doing the trainings in here. This is so much better than when I got the one tape, right? You got 14 different top agents showing you exactly what they're doing. So you get to go out and cherry pick the best ideas, and you also get to see which personality matches best with you so you can use their dialogues. So pretty cool stuff. All right, so you also get samples and handouts, right? These are dozens of downloadable samples and handouts that you can see their entire listing system from start to finish, including their seller lead sheet and appointment setting script. Pretty cool stuff. You'll know exactly what questions they ask, why they ask them, what they're focused on, and you go all the way into setting that appointment right there with that motivated seller. All right, then you get to see pretty listing packages. What are these agents sending out, either by mail or email or hand delivered? What are they sending to the seller to pre-sell the agent before they get there? What is in that package? You get to see the whole thing. And then you have listing presentations with full marketing plans. So you get to see their entire listing presentation plus their marketing plan, which I think is the most amazing part. Their marketing plan is very simple. You think they're doing these big deals and they got 7-figure businesses and they got this crazy marketing plan that would be so hard to duplicate. No, they keep it simple. They keep it very simple. In fact, it may be more simpler than your marketing plan currently is. What they do is they just present it in a very clean format. All right. And then you got pricing charts and graphs to help people understand why they should list at the right price. That's the number one thing there. And also understand the timing of the market and what's going on there as well. Then you got forms and checklists to keep you on track. This is what keeps the top agents on track. It'll certainly keep you on track as well. So you can use these forms to walk through your entire process, make sure that nothing's slipping through the cracks. And then you also have seller handouts. What do you give the seller at the end to get them to the next step, like preparing their home for photos? You show them what they need to do, or having a quick checklist on how they can prepare for a showing that's going to happen in 10 minutes. So things like that are pretty awesome. Plus, at the summit, 3 top agents talked about how they're setting all of their listing appointments in their office and are getting hired before they see the house or establish a listing price. Now, this reduces their time for each listing by eliminating travel and getting the seller's commitment before they do any work preparing CMAs, touring the home, or giving any staging advice. So you'll gain control over your schedule, stop working evenings and weekends, and set a standard 9 to 5 Monday through Friday schedule like doctors, lawyers, and accountants. Now, if you want to start setting listing appointments in your office, you'll see 3 models in the summit of how you can use scripts, approaches, and even video email to increase the odds of the seller doing their pre-appointment paperwork and showing up on time. It really comes down to a simple idea. If you want to list homes like the top agents, model the top agent listing presentations and get the same results. It's really that simple. It's worked for me, it worked for my listing agent, and it'll work for you. So how much will it cost me? It's a good question, Mike. How much is this? So 19 years ago, I wanted to see inside the listing presentation of one top agent who was listing and selling 200 homes per year. So I wanted to be just like him. So after 1 year of procrastinating, I hope nobody out there is doing that, I finally broke down and I got his 1-hour videotape. So I got to listen to his materials, listen to how he presented, and understand his philosophy. Was it worth it? Absolutely. I watched the video, made it my own, practiced, and went out and started taking listings, lots and lots of listings, right? I quickly started to list 5 to 10 homes per month. Why have I told you that a couple times? Because I want you to list 5 to 10 homes per month. In my best month, I listed 21 homes in 30 days. You have no idea how exciting it is until you actually do that. You go out there to 21 homes. Actually, I probably went out to 25 or 26 homes. I wasn't listing all of them, but you list 21 homes in 30 days. I just modeled the top agents and it worked. I made my investment back when my first listing closed. I made literally 1,000 times my investment over the next few years. I would never trade that experience. I only wish I would not have procrastinated and waited that 1 year. I would have been earning that much faster. And this is duplicatable. Eventually, I want to expand with a listing agent, right? And so I hired a new agent. And this is the key here, right? If you're new, or even, and if you have tons of experience, you're in even a better position. But if you're a new agent, this guy only had his license for 6 months and only closed 2 buyer transactions, never took a listing. He was listing homes in his second month with my reject leads. And by his third month, he listed 14 homes in 30 days. 14 homes in 30 days, and the guy had never taken a listing before. Just think about that. These concepts are transferable. Anyone can learn how. Modeling successful systems is the key. That's why I'm presenting you with these 14 models, and you get to pick which one matches you best. I modeled the top agents and quickly became a success. Then my new listing agent modeled me and ramped up fast. Now you can model the top agents and start listing homes too. So what is the value? Well, that 1-hour VCR videotape that I purchased way back, it basically cost me $1,000 in today's money. This summit, there are 14 top agents demonstrating their exact listing presentations and sharing their handouts. In the videotape I had before, I didn't get to have any handouts. I had to just see what it was on the screen. So basically on that, the 14 video recordings should at least cost $14,000, right? Well, they'd be worth it. A couple of closings, they would be paid for, and every listing after that would be pure profit. But I know that 14,000 is a lot of cash for someone to come up with. I know that 10,000 would be a lot, and so we're not going to charge 5,000 either. I know that's a bit difficult. Now, what I should have done is charge 2,000, and a lot of top trainers told me that 2,000 was the magic number. I should be charging that or more, but I decided not to do that. What I'm going to do is you can get the entire summit recordings for only one payment of $997 today. That's it. One payment of $997 today, and you get the entire thing. Now, I had some people ask, Mike, is there any kind of payment plan that you could put together? I really want to do this, but I don't know about that price. Sure, here's the best that I can do, and it's a webinar only special for those here with us today, and that is $97 a month for 12 months. So that's a very low entry fee. I mean, $97, you can barely go out to dinner for that. I'm going to be taking my family out later. I know I'm going to spend more than $97 tonight on our little celebration dinner, and I'm sure you would do the same, right? So yes, people ask me, and here's the answer. Yes, you do get the whole thing right now. I'm not going to be dripping this out where you get one presentation today and one presentation tomorrow, and then another presentation 3 months from now. It all happens now. You get everything today. Plus, you get 3 fast action bonuses. I love when people take action. So I call these the student-driven bonuses, as they were all designed at the request of the Summit students to make this training even more easy and simple. Remember Einstein. So fast action bonus number 1, seller lead sheet template. The template. This is really cool. What I did was I went in and I modeled those top agents, those 14 top agents, and I created a simple Word template that you can quickly use right out of the box or modify it to meet you. So these are the questions the top agents are asking. These are the questions you should be asking to qualify those sellers and set the appointments. You can use it quickly to determine that seller's motivation and timing and set appointments with the best leads. Now, fast action bonus number 2, listing presentation template. I'm super, super duper proud of this. So the reason this came about is all the handouts that you get, they're all in PDF format. And you can look at them and you can model them. But I don't want you to just do cut and paste, like do, what do they call that? Photoshop, where you just put your face on the other agent's body. You can't do that. So you can use them to model. And what I did, though, to speed up this process is I created a template that you can just use right out of the box. So I modeled the common elements of the top agent listing presentations, went and looked at all 14, and I created this 39-page fill-in-the-blank template, which is very quick and easy to use. It's both in Word and PowerPoint format. So it's in Word if you like printing things out and have a little print book, which I used to do, or you can do PowerPoint on the screen if you prefer doing it on a computer screen. Boom, you got it right there, and you can just whip through those pages. All you have to do is enter your name, photo, email, phone, a couple little pieces of information. You're up and running super duper fast, and you can start taking listings like the pros in 24 hours or less just using that template. Okay. And then fast action bonus number 3. I got this request all the time. People say, Mike, geez, sounds like you had a great listing presentation to list 21 homes in 30 days. And my answer is, yep, I sure did. And they said, well, can I see it? And I said, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dig it up and I'm going to walk through it and I'm going to video that and I'm going to let you all see my presentation. So I demonstrate my exact listing presentation I used to list those homes. You can download the presentation. You can cut it up. You have my permission to use it any way you want. And then you can see my marketing plan, my price bracket strategy, which is really cool, and how I closed for the listing at my full commission rate. Now, the price bracket strategy is the coolest thing. If you don't get anything else out of it, go look at that, because what that did was that allowed me to, and by the way, this is a little different than the other top agents. I hadn't seen anybody using it quite the way I did it, but you're able to narrow down that seller to a price range that works for you. Any number they pick in there, you win, and it's logically set up. So if for some reason the seller wants to price too high, if you want to roll with them, you can do it for, say, a week or 2 weeks, and then you, with this logic built in, they'll automatically drop down to the correct price at the end of that period. And I, by the way, would write that right into the additional provisions. And 2 weeks from now, you know, you talk to your lawyer and your broker or whatever, but 2 weeks from now, we're going to drop that price down to here if the property is not under contract. And that made my listing sell fast. That was awesome. And it got that seller to be realistic. Okay. Now I get a question all the time, Mike, I love this idea. I understand I need to master my listing presentation, but I need to know how to get more sellers into my pipeline. Okay, well, that makes sense. First of all, by the way, I think you're going to get more sellers in your pipeline just by having a better listing presentation. You got to go backwards to go forwards. I know that sounds weird, but I know that I was self-sabotaging in my prospecting and marketing and setting appointments because I was scared I didn't have anything to show them. I was worried I didn't know what to do at the end if I did set that appointment. So I realized later I was self-sabotaging. Once I got mastered my listing presentation, holy moly, now I want to go out and get as many people as I can into that system so I can present to them. And by the way, that'll just open up your eyes, and your activator reticulator will go out there and find those sellers. But I'm going to go on top of that. I'm going to show you a way to get more appointments from the top agents. So we got the Agent Lead Generation Summit we did, and we did recordings, video recordings of this, and we got 17 top agents who answered this question in detail. What is your number one best lead generation method in today's market? And it was phenomenal. And so we get to look over their shoulder and onto their computer screen and see exactly what they were doing to get all those leads to come into their business. And you're going to get to see a lot of different methods like Facebook ads for generating seller leads. Not buyer, by the way. Facebook ads for generating seller leads, geographic farming, which is all focused on bringing in seller leads, past clients, sphere of influence, and referrals. That should be circled all together. That is a big chunk of most top agents' businesses, and you want to master that. And a whole bunch of these top people went through and explained what they're doing to get past clients, sphere of influence, and referrals. And then you got internet leads, pay-per-click, SEO, IDX, so some newer ways to get those new leads in. And then you got phone prospecting as well. And open, which is super high ROI. If you're willing to get on that phone, if you got that personality, you can really cash in on that. But if you're not, let's say you don't like that, you want people to come to you, you've got open houses. You got all kinds of ways to make this work. Okay. So when you invest, you have my personal 30-day money-back guarantee. Right? If you're not happy with this, you send me an email and I'll send you a refund right away. I want you to be happy. I want you to be taking listings. I want you to be a pro. So here's what to do now. Just click the big red button under the screen that looks like this. And here's what's going to happen next. You'll see this page. Just enter your info. And then you're going to pick your payment option, either one payment or the 12 pay. And then you're going to click the green button, the order button at the bottom of the form. And when you do that, you'll be taken right into the membership site, and you'll receive an email within 15 minutes with your username and password, and you just enter them right there, and you're able to go right into the system. You go right inside the membership site with full access to everything inside. Like right here is the very first video of the listing presentation with that Eric Hatch did, and you can see it's 94 minutes and 30 seconds. You know, he did a great job, an hour and a half of showing us everything he's got, and some of the highlights were that he had in-office listing appointments, right, which is what we're talking about today, with an 85% show-up rate and a 70% sign-up rate. Pretty spectacular. You can see there's a description of video. There's audio that you can download too, by the way, an MP3 audio that you can listen to if you like walking around or doing exercise or driving, and then also handout download so you can see his documents, right? And all your fast action bonuses and webinar bonuses will be preloaded already inside the membership. So it all starts with taking action. You can do it slowly, right? Using trial and error to get some of what I've shared today. You can use that. Or you can get your goal quickly and model the top 14 agents inside the Listing Agent Summit recordings. So here's what to do now. Click that big red button on the page and get immediate access to the Listing Agent Summit recordings. You see the 14 videos of the top agents demonstrating their listing presentations in detail. You get downloads of dozens of samples of pre-listing, the presentation, the marketing plans, the checklist, everything you're going to need to be an expert. And then you got fast action bonus number 1, the seller lead sheet template in Word. You got fast action bonus number 2, the listing presentation template in Word and PowerPoint. You got the fast action bonus number 3, my listing presentation that I use to list 21 homes in 30 days. You're going to see that. And you got the webinar only bonus where you get a copy of the Agent Lead Generation Summit recordings with the 17 agents showing you how they're generating all the leads into their business. Their lifetime access. You get lifetime access to this with a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can either do it with one payment or 12 pay, whichever is better for you. So now, if you have questions, go ahead and type them into the question box on your screen. I'm about to look over there and check them out. Pretty excited. You just use this box. If you haven't used it yet, you type your question into the bottom, you press enter. If you haven't done this, if you've entered all your information, it's already there. But if you haven't, number 2 pops open, and underline 2, type your temporary name, press go, and you'll be into the box so you can ask questions. All right, I'm going to leave this up while I go over there and see if we got some questions that have started up. And I don't see any questions yet. I know there's a little bit of a time delay, so I'm going to go ahead and wait. And I'll just tell you that I am super excited for the folks on the call to get into listing properties at your office. Was that video that Patrick put out, was that cool or what? I thought that was pretty spectacular. And it's been working very, very well for him. He said that he's been reducing his listing time, and he believes he's actually signing up a lot more people now because he's bringing them in the office. So it's saving him time, which is amazing. And he's actually signing more sellers because he's showing that he's that pro. He's showing that he's that professional. All right, I'm going to go over and see if we have any questions. And I'm not seeing any questions pop up in the box. I hope it's working okay. I see that we had some earlier entries. So I am going to assume that we covered everything and did a great job and that there were no questions at the end. I really appreciate everybody being here on the call. What I'm going to do now is I promised you if you stay to the end, you get a free surprise. And here's where you can get the free surprise. You get a copy of the seller lead sheet, the seller intake form that I use to find seller motivation and timing and set listing appointments when I listed those 21 homes in 30 days. So you can go over and you can pick this up. Just open up a new internet browser. Don't try to do it in the browser you're in right now. You'll lose the link, but here it is, or the domain name. But here it is: www.mastermindagent.com/lead sheet. If you go there, you can get a copy. And again, it's www.mastermindagent.com/lead sheet. Go there and you can pick up a copy of the seller lead sheet and start using it in your business to start converting those leads, those seller leads, into appointments. Find out what their motivation is, their timing, and set that appointment like a pro. So I really enjoyed talking with you today. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you all go out there and start listing more properties in your office. Just try it. Just try it with the very next listing that you get. Have them come in. You're going to be surprised how easy it is and how easy it flows. And it's going to save you a ton of time. You're really going to love the results. All right. Enjoy talking with you today. Take care. Goodbye.